Hello. So we are going to continue on with our work in financial maths, and all we are doing today is looking at PRSI and USC, which are two different types of tax, two extra types of tax that people get when they are earning money. So PRSI stands for pay-related social insurance, and both employees and employers have to pay it. And it goes towards building up rights to social welfare if you lose your job. And USC stands for Universal Social Charge, and it is related to social welfare and medical benefits. So they're just two extra types of tax that you will have to deal with when you're dealing with exam type questions. So all of the stuff we have done so far is still relevant. We're just going to have to deal with these two extra pieces of tax and add them up to get our total, what we call our total deductions, which is our real kind of like our total net tax. Now, what I'm going to do is go through an example here, and what we're going to use is the table on the top, or the two tables on the top of page 67 in your books. And in an exam question, they will give you a table just like the one at the top of page 67. So you're not required to remember the percentages for PRSI or USC. You will be given a table like on page 67 if you are given an exam question involving PRSI or USC. Now, let's get into it. I'm going to give you an example because the ones in the book, one of the questions in the book is similar to what I'm going to do. Now, in my example, so this is not a question from the book, it's just like the questions in the book. I have a gross income of €60,000 a year. I have a tax credit of €1,000. My standard rate cutoff point is 35,300, and I'm going to get taxed at the lower rate at 20% and the upper rate at 40%. And I want to find my net income if I have to take away my net tax, my PRSI, and my USC. So my net tax works exactly the same way as we already talked about. It's going to be finding your gross tax. If you remember finding our gross tax, we had our tax at 40% and our tax at 20%. You already know how to do this. And then we would take away our tax credit. And when we do that, I'm not going to make you sit through that again. When we do that, we get our net tax in this situation would work out to 15,940. So the steps for getting this are getting our gross tax, our T40 plus our T20 minus our tax credit. You have already done this type of question multiple times. Now for the new bit, PRSI. So if we look at the table on the top of page 67, it's going to tell us what we need to do. PRSI. So it's important for PRSI and USC that you simply follow the instructions that they give you in the table. If you do that, you'll get your full marks. So what does it tell us in the table? We want to get 4% on the gross income over €18,304. So we're going to find out what 4% of our income is above €18,304. So we need to know how much of our income is above our 18,304. So we have 60,000 is our income, and we're going to take away 18,304, and that's going to tell us the amount of income we have above 18,304, and we get 41,696. So that's the amount of money we earn above 18,304, and we want to know what 4% of that is. So our PRSI tax, our PRSI charge is going to be 4% of this. So we get 4% is 4 out of 100 on 41696. We get 6166.7.84. So that's our PRSI charge, we find out how much of it is going to get charged on PRSI, the amount above 18,304, and then we get 4% of that, or whatever the table tells you to get as a percentage, but usually PRSI will be 4%. Now our next job is going to be USC, and you can see that that table has more bits to it. So USC is a little bit more cumbersome to calculate, but it is done in the same way. We follow the instructions in the table, but sometimes we have to be a little bit careful with the information as it's given to us. So we're told that for USC we're going to pay 0.5% on the first €12,012 that we earn. So if we look at that, I'm going to do this written out as so. From €0 up to €12,012, I'm going to be paying 0.5% of that in USC. Now I want to be very careful here. That's 0.5%. So I'm going to have 0.5 divided by 100. Be careful of this. 0.5 already looks kind of like a percentage done as a decimal, but it's 0.5%, so it's 0.5 divided by 100, and we're going to get 0.5 over 100 of 12,012. And when we put that into our calculator, we get 60.06 euro. So that's how much USC we have to pay on our first 12,012 euro. Now the next bit requires a little bit of calculation. So from 12,012 euro up for the next 7,862 euro, we're going to pay 2% USC. So we need to work out what 12,012 plus 7,862 is, and when we add that up we get 19,874. So this number is 12,012 plus 7,862. So that's how I got this number here. So this is the interval we're dealing with at the moment, and we're going to pay 2% USC on that. So 2% of, well, how much money are we talking about? It's the amount of money in between these two figures, so it's going to be our 7,862. 62, not 60. So when I do that on my calculator, I get 157.24. Now that's my amount of USC that I have to pay on this interval of my income, and then from 19,874 up to, so for the next 50,126 euro. So if I add those up, I get 70,000. So this is going to be my USC over this interval here, but I run into a problem. If you can see it, I only earn 60,000 euro a year. So I am going to get I'm not going to get 4.5% of this interval. I am going to get 4.5% of 19,874 up to 60,000 euro, because that is all of the money that I earn. $60,000. So I'm going to get 4.5% of that interval. So that's going to be 40126. So I find the difference between 19,874 and 60,000. That's where I get my 40,000 and 126 here. So the difference between these two numbers is the amount of money that's getting charged at 4.5% USC. I put that into my calculator and I get 18 1,005.67, and that's all of my dealings with USC. I don't have to go up to the next area of USC because I only earn 60,000, and the next bracket, the 8% bracket for USC, is a higher income than I've got. So that is where I have to stop for USC. So these are my different parts of my universal social charge. So I want to know the total USC is just going to be these things added together, and when I add them all up, I get 2022.97. So again, if I add my different parts of USC up together, I'm going to get my total USC, my total charge for USC. Now I know my net tax, we learned how to do that the last day, I know my PRSI, and I know my total USC. So now to find my net income, I'm going to find my total deductions. Deductions just means stuff we take away. So total deductions. Total deductions is going to be my net tax plus my PRSI plus my universal social charge, which is going to be my 15,940 plus my PRSI of 16,067.84 plus my total USC. When I add all of them up together, I get 19,630.81 cent. This is my total deductions, all of the different types of tax that the government takes off me from my income. So my net income would be equal to my gross income, my 60,000, minus all of my deductions, so my total deductions, which is going to be 60,000 minus my total deductions, which gives me a final answer, my net income, euro sign, 40,369.19. So this is the amount of money I get to take home. This could also be called my take-home pay, or net income is the slightly more formal name for it. So you can see all you have to do for PRSI and USC is follow the instructions on the table, and then you add on these extra expenses, these extra taxes that they're charging. You find your net tax as normal, and then you add on your PRSI and your USC following the instructions in the table. And then you just add up your total deductions, take it away from your gross income, and we get our net income, or our take-home pay. And that is what we need for now.